G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Bonsai Works. I'm David. Today I've got this very large Trident maple stock. This tree is really quite big, but it's also got a lot of excessive growth. Now my plan for this tree is twofold. I want to actually try and remove branches that I don't need at this time of year, and then repot this tree. I want to train it in a bonsai pot. I want it to slow grow it now. I don't want to speed grow it anymore. There's a few areas that I really would like to heal up. There's a bit of a wound here that just needs healing, and of course there's a wound here. That's just going to take years, so no point trying to do that in a pot like this. I prefer to actually start to work on all the branching and just let time heal those wounds, because they're quite large. It's just, it will never end up in a bonsai pot if I don't at least get it working now. So really what I want to try and do with this tree is pick a front end. A little bit hard to show, but it's got a pretty decent nabari all the way through. But a lot of the issues with this tree is going to be dictated by the wound that this tree has at the back. It's created a bit of a, I'll just show you that in a minute. There's a very large wound here that's going to dictate the front of the tree. This wound goes down at least into about here on the trunk, and I don't want to see that. But luckily, what happens is that the best nabari is actually from this end anyway. So if I just use the nabari to indicate what the best front is, then that's going to be the front in there. So at least that's a good start for me. I just need to hide that huge wound and try and let it heal over time. All right. Oh, it's heavier than you think. So really, first stage at the moment is I'm going to look at the tree. I do like that base. It's got some subtle movement, but then it's also, now I just want to make sure I've got the right branching that I need to build this tree. Now, I don't want to do a triangular tree, if that makes sense. I want to try and have a natural deciduous looking tree. This would have been grown to be a kind of triangular tree, but I really don't want to do that. So I want to actually try and encourage more upward growth like this. This is really nice growth up here, upwardish. I want to try and, if things are going down like this, I want them to kind of come back up at the ends, which is good. Even the lower ones down here, it's got kind of sideways, which is okay, but you want the tips to come up and become more upright. It's just that flow. You need to have that right flow, and it's a bit tricky. It's just going to take me a bit of time to get through what I need to. I really dislike the apex, or what's been grown as a straight trunk up here. It's very straight. It's pretty much I think it's going to have to go, most of that. I'll probably have to just try and regrow something from there to make it more multiple branches, not the one main trunk. But I just probably have to reduce it slowly over time. Probably cut it off here, I'd say, for starters. Let's do that. It's not going to be the best, so I'm just going to remove that for now. So I've removed that bit of the tree. Trying to bring it down, probably has to come down a bit more. Probably want to get a bit more lower and have to regrow branches from that point. Okay, so I probably have to regrow all branching in around here. Use a lot of these to try and create a bit more of an interesting apex. So it's got a couple of nice branches here and here, much more subtle. Got some bit lower down, which is good. I think that's about where I want to keep that bit. For now, that's about right. So now it's a matter of going through the tree and trying to eliminate a lot of multiple at one spot, things like that. Just trying to avoid the same issues we have with other trees. When you have 3 in one, 4 in one spot, it's going to swell in that spot. Let's start doing that reduction and building the tree out. So that's just going to go through the tree and do that. I'm going to put wire. I am very reluctant to put wire on maples, but I only do structural wiring on maples. Like, for example, I really only do the main branch and maybe a secondary. But it's very, I've got to keep an eye on it, because in spring it's just going to explode in growth. So just got to keep an eye on it. That's the main thing. So that's what I'm going to do now. Just have a look at the branches I'm going to keep. I don't want to eliminate too many. I like having a lot of branches on maples. They look more fuller, more interesting, more real, more natural. I don't want to have 1, 2, 3 and that's it. I want to have lots of branches. This is a lot of branches, which I like. I don't mind that. If there's a branch here and a branch here and they look like a bar, it doesn't matter at this stage, because this is very heavy and very thick. If I keep these under control, it's never going to swell. All right, but on the ends out here, there's about 4 or 5 in the one spot. That's going to swell. So I just got to make those decisions. Anything on the trunk's pretty much safe. It's more the outer areas. Anything that goes straight up is unattractive. So, for example, there's a branch in here that goes straight up. So you can see that goes straight up. You don't want that. That's a little bit more subtle. That's just straight up. Things like that have to be eliminated. So pretty much get my branch cutters or whatever cutters you've got nice and sharp. As long as they're nice and sharp, make sure you're looking at the tree at the front you want, and then start with the first branch and work your way through the tree. So I've explained what I'm going to do. I'm going to go away and do it now. But I will try and show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. I'll just show you this one, for example. This one that goes straight up. There's just no point in having it. So it's got a beautiful branch here. It's got side branches everywhere, really nice, tight. It's got this huge, like, water shoot, almost they call it, like just a big, strong shoot that kind of ruins the whole look. So I just come in and take that off. Okay, it's pretty easy. And then this time of year, you can do this work. I'm going to repot this tree after I've done the work, because I don't want to be moving the tree in the pot after I've repotted and things like that. So I'm just going to do this work quickly. I'll get through the tree pretty quick, and we'll come back and see where I end up with it. We're going to chuck a bit of wire on it probably as well, so you can see my vision for the tree, and then we'll repot this tree, which is going to be a task because I'm not sure what soil it's in. It's not in my mix. It's very, it seems more like just a more organic mix. So we'll see what it looks like. All right. So this is how it looks after I have spent some time trimming off a lot of the heavy and not very nice growth. Really had to reduce a lot in here. It was really quite heavy in out here, so it's been reduced, and tried to lift these up. It's a little trying to lift these big heavy ones up. They'll push down. Some of these are nice growing in the outwards. Probably a couple of branches here that are annoying because they kind of whip down a bit too much, and I've tried to raise it back up a little, trying to get that look. This branch, oh, hang on, got the front, sorry. Let's get the front right on there for you. Should be right there. I've made a little cut out here. Kind of the first branch I've tried to bring out and try to lift the tips up a little bit. This is a little not as heavy as I like it to be, so better time to grow. In the back, I've just wired these around a bit more, just so they can come actually give you a bit more foliage later on. There wasn't much around here, unfortunately, because of obviously this wound. So I've taken a branch at the back, and I'm trying to wire this around here eventually. I'm hoping to fill in at least the gap in here, but everything's slowly starting to push upwards, which is good. Nothing's pushed too much downwards like this. I want to try to avoid that. It's more canopy looking tree. So that's where the work's been done. I've done the work. There was nothing really tricky or anything in this. Really, it's just a lot of heavy growth up here that has to be controlled. So over the next season, I'll try and keep this in check. Trimming a lot more, don't let it get away from me. Try and get these to grow out a little bit more and stronger, and get them filled out a little bit more. So I'm going to have a look what the soil is underneath here. It's going to be a bit messy, so I'm just going to put this in the garden and wash all the soil off. And I'll come back and show you how the roots look and what they look like and how we can treat this tree and see where the next steps are. Okay. So I showed you a glimpse of what the roots look like and how I wash the old soil off the roots, and now you can see the really healthy root ball that I've left on the tree. I do now go, and I know this area has been kind of heavily chopped, which means it's been growing in the ground for a while, but this just needs time to develop and should be able to get that growing really well. But I actually like to go underneath now and see if I can find any really heavy roots, which I try and eliminate, just because they're going to be in the way. I only want the fine feeder roots. So I'll just go through and see if there's anything really heavy. I didn't get all the old soil off, so I might go back and give it another once over to wash, but I just want to show you that's pretty good, looking pretty good. Trident maples can take a punishment, if you know what I mean. You can remove a lot of the root ball and it'll still come back very strongly, no problem at all with health-wise. One of the tricks now is finding a pot for this tree. As I said, I want to get in the bonsai pot and start training it from now. I've had a look and really only one pot suits it at the moment. It's just, I'd like to get it in a flatter pot, but then I'll show you the pot I'm going to put it in. It's stunning regardless. It's a stunning pot, but maybe could go shallower, but it looks really good in this pot and could stay in that pot forever almost. But let me go and clean off the root ball a bit more and we'll come back and see what the pot it's going to go into. This is the pot I've chosen. It's quite nice and deep. It really matches the heaviness of the tree. It's wide enough to be able to contain the big canopy. It would have been nice to go shallower. I had in mind another pot, and this is a Japanese Hekisui pot, signed as well. So a stunning pot. I've already put soil in it just because I was trying to get ahead. So it's a magnificent pot. Oval in nature. Really top colours. I'll show you a zoom in of those colours. Amazing pot. So should suit this maple really well. The other pot I had in mind was the one I had, the Reiho pot, the blue one. Again, a beautiful pot, but the shallowness right at this stage isn't going to suit the health of the tree. So I still want to keep the health of the tree going. I think with this, that shallowness just won't suit just right. So I'm going with the heavier pot. I've already prepped the pot in the normal fashion, wired them, meshed the soil, meshed the holes, and now I'm just going to try and put this big boy in. So always make sure you look to get the front right. Sometimes I've got to tuck the roots in, unfortunately. I'm going to bury the roots a little bit deeper because I want them to develop. So, and then slowly expose the tree over time. Looks pretty good, I think. For what it is, it gives a really big strength for the tree. Should look really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. You'll still be able to see the Nabari. I think this tree branch needs to go a little bit more this way, so I'll probably have to rewire that one a little. But other than that, not too bad. I think it looks good in that. I think that other one would have been nicer, but I can't get the shallowness on this tree just yet. I think over time it could go into that shallower Reiho pot. So I'm going to put some soil first before I tie the tree in. So this is now just the repotting process. I'm just going to fill it up with soil, work it in with chopsticks, and then I'll tie the tree off. And I'll come back and show you the final product. If you haven't seen it before, I just use my fingers and chopstick to really work the soil in to the root ball, and it just disappears. Once you start doing that, it really disappears into little crevices of roots and so on, and it just all goes down. So it's really important to get all that soil that sits on top. See how there's so much here? Once I work it all in, it just disappears. Really disappears. So really important step. If you haven't seen that before, if you're new, really work the soil in, and then it actually starts to get firmer, and you know you're actually almost at the point where it's good and good to go. So I haven't wired the tree in just yet because I want to get some more soil underneath the tree before I wire it, so it's nice and firm. Sometimes you just wire it straight away. Other times you don't. I just want to get some of the soil right into the roots, and then I'll be able to tie the tree in, and it'll form a more solid base. All right, so that's how the tree's turned out. I'm very happy with it. Looks good in this pot. Suits it. It's not too big. It's deep, but not too big. Makes the tree look really powerful. Again, yes, ideally a bit shallower. However, the health of the tree at the moment. First bonsai pot it's been in, so this is the way I approach it. Now I'm just going to water the tree in, put it in the same spot that was in the garden, exact same spot. Water it in, and that's really, I'll leave it alone until it flushes growth in the spring. I will keep an eye on a lot of this that I've wired. I don't want it to cut in, so By trimming a lot of the branches off, it shouldn't cut in on the main branches, which is good. And ideally, just want to start developing the tree. Really, it's got all the branching that I like. Would have been nice to have a branch in here somewhere to really give the movement on this side upwards and make it more canopied. But at the moment, it's nice structure. Trying to get the branches to come in, go loop down and go up, trying to form that nice, more natural shape, especially at the top. Just want them to go upwards more. See, some of them are doing well. These are I'm pushing back up, pushing back these up, pushing back these up, trying to get something to happen. The wound I'm not going to be able to do much with. Maybe in time it will heal up, or maybe we can hollow that out later on. But the Nabari is excellent. It just needs to really start to develop the finer bits and make it really flush. I think eventually I'll raise this up as the roots develop more, and the tree, the Nabari, will be even wider. But just needs time to really settle in for its new pot, and off it goes. Have you guys, that's pretty much it. Pretty easy. I don't put anything on top of the surface. I know people shred sphagnum moss, but to get moss growing or protect the roots, I don't do any of that. I think Melbourne conditions are very mild. We don't need to really do that to protect it, so no problems there. So I never do it. Had no issues, so just another tip. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the pot for this tree. Hope you like the nice big Trident maple. And eventually this tree will be actually quite nice, I think. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.